Well, someday LaDainian Tomlinson will be enshrined in the Hall of Fame at Canton, Ohio, but right now he doesn't feel like a Hall of Fame running back. More on that. Let's go down to the field and Andrea Kramer. Andrea.
You're absolutely right, Al. I talked to a very subdued LaDainian Tomlinson who told me no question he's having career mortality issues. He said losing is wearing him out and he feels, quote, almost out of gas mentally. He said he'll never quit and is still giving maximum effort. He admits, though, the Chargers are clearly not the same team, and he's resigned to the fact that they've become primarily a passing team. He said to get his confidence back, he just needs opportunities. But he is averaging a career-low 18 attempts per game, although, Al, Norv Turner said he'd like to get that number up into the high 20s tonight.
And would love to get him into triple figures. Still have some residual smoke from a big pre-game fireworks display. Also, Tom Moore smoked his typical pack of Marlboros down on the field before the game. The Colts offensive coordinator. It'll dissipate in a few minutes. Nate Kading ready to kick off for San Diego. Colts won the toss and elect to receive. Chad Simpson, a rookie, will be running it back. Simpson out of Morgan State, a free agent. And so we are ready to go from San Diego. Simpson moves over and collects it at the 5-yard line. And Simpson brings it back to close to the 30 in Applewhite. That offensive line, because of injuries, juggling and shuffling through the season. Deem is the only one of the 5 who has started every game this season. Ball to the 28. Adai is the running back. And the first play of the game as Peyton Manning is at the line and signaling and gesticulating and both sides pointing across the line of scrimmage as Manning will roll, throw to the sideline, finds the open man, and that's Gonzalez, who makes the catch up at the 43-yard line for a gain of 15. Tackled there by the safety, Eric Weddle.
You know, it's interesting. The Colts come out in their 3 wide receivers, and we see Anthony Gonzalez here. He is the slot wide receiver, and he just runs it out. And again, Marvin Harrison was running deep on that side. He ran the coverage off on that side so that Gonzalez could get the out.
This very much their base formation, 3 wide, 1 tight, and a running back. They've utilized the 3-1-1 design 71% of the time this year, by far most in the league. Here's Adai. Tries to cut it back, picks up a couple up to the 45-yard line. And, of course, the Indianapolis Colts, as they have done for years, operate out of the no-huddle.
You know, and it's something that they are. It's something that Peyton Manning is, something that the entire offense is. But defenses really have to adjust to that, because when the offense doesn't huddle, that means that the defense cannot huddle. So they have to use a lot of hand signals to get the defense on the field that they want, and they can't substitute.
Manning taking this snap out of the shotgun, flanked by Adai on 2nd down and 8. Good protection. Manning to the outside, and that pass along the near side is hauled in inbounds at the 44-yard line by Marvin Harrison, coming off a game last week against the Texans in which he had 9 receptions.
You know, and this is something that you can't do to Marvin Harrison. If you're going to get up on him like that, you have to bump him. You have to be physical. Jammer was up like he was going to jam him, and then he bailed out or ran off.
And before the snap, Norv Turner took a look, and the crowd responded to what you saw on the replay, and he throws the challenge flag here because it appeared on that first replay that Harrison only had 1 foot in. Gene Steratore is the referee tonight. Ironically, he reffed last year's wild one here between these same 2 teams.
Challenging the ruling on the field of a completed catch. Timeout.
So here's Harrison. Possession, 1 foot down, and the other foot appears to be out. Steratore to the hood. We'll take another look here. It'll be tough to overturn because it is so very close. Watch Marvin Harrison with his right foot. The right toe is down as he gets possession. When does it come up? There it is. He gets possession right there. Does he still have the toe on the ground is the question. Left foot clearly in, then the right foot goes out of bounds. And again, this is one of those calls where you call it one way on the field, and you must see enough evidence to overturn it.
You know, Marvin Harrison has been doing this for 13 years, and as you say, that's close, and it probably won't be overturned, but I would bet on Marvin Harrison. I mean, I just think that he is so aware of where he is, where his feet are, where the ball is, that he is not going to catch a ball and be out of bounds.
Gene Steratore has reviewed it, and
After review, the ruling on the field stands. It was a completed catch with both feet down. San Diego will be charged with its first timeout.
again, you go back to what the replay rule is all about. You rule it one way on the field, and you must see enough evidence to overturn it. Had he ruled that he was out of bounds, that might have stood as well.
Yeah, and I think the fans are booing because they didn't see that right toe drag there. You know, I mean, they didn't see that part of it. They just saw the right foot go out of bounds after the left foot was in.
So the ball is at the 44-yard line. They set up with 3 receivers to the left. The die is in the backfield with Manning out of the shotgun. Clark, the tight end, lines up on the right side, stays in the block. Manning will go to the left side, and there's Harrison again. And Marvin Harrison at the 40-yard line. His second catch on this drive. The Colts have done a tremendous job protecting the football. No turnovers in their last 3 games. And on the flip side, San Diego, a team that led the league in takeaways last year, has had none in its last 4 games.
And they're not getting the same type of pressure on the quarterback that they did last year either.
The die has no room at all. Clinton Hart comes up to make the tackle. 3rd down and 6 at the 40-yard line. Blitz coming. It's picked up, and the pass is incomplete, intended for Dallas Clark. That may have been tipped. It looked like Stephen Cooper, the inside linebacker, may have gotten a finger on it. So 4th down.
You know, and that's the thing that the Chargers talked about, is they have to get pressure on Peyton Manning, but straight up the middle, right in his face here. Don't let him step up. Or when he steps up, let him see something coming right at him so that he can't step, follow through, and get everything he wants to in the ball.
Hunter Smith the punt, and Darren Sproles, who had 2 returns, one a kickoff, one a punt, for touchdowns in this game last year, is back. Sproles will have to signal for the fair catch, and he'll make it at the 9-yard line, and that's where Philip Rivers and his group will take over. Early first quarter in San Diego. Colts, Chargers on Sunday night. First offensive play for the Chargers, and they'll start on the ground, and they'll give the ball to LaDainian Tomlinson. He will pick up 5 to the 14-yard line. Philip Rivers came here in 04, part of that Eli Manning going to New York, and Rivers sent to San Diego, and there he is at home here at Qualcomm Stadium, 18-2 in the regular season.
You know, and that gives him a confidence too. You know, talking to him the other day about it, that was the first thing that he said, is he said, you know, that, you know, we've had some problems, we're 4-6. He said, but we do pretty well here at home.
And now Tomlinson rolls into Freddie Keaho, gain of 1. After 2 Tomlinson runs now, out of the shotgun they'll go on 3rd down and 3. Rivers hanging in. Rivers going deep down the left sideline, and reaching for it is Malcolm Floyd, but the pass is too far, and it's 4th down. So a 3 and out for San Diego, deep in Charger territory.
You know, Philip Rivers was saying the other day that, you know, against this defense, because the Colts play so much cover 2 and they keep those 2 safeties deep, and they're not going to give you a lot. They're not going to give you anything deep. He felt that we really had to be patient, you know, take the shorter passes, take the dumps, the check downs, those kinds of things. And then lo and behold, they run 2 plays and then throw a deep one.
Mike Seifer is a great punter, one of the best in the league. He's 1st in net, 3rd in gross. He's averaging 48 yards per punt. Kewan Ratliff is back to receive. Very high kick. Fair caught at the 43-yard line by Ratliff, and that is a 41-yard boot for Seifers. Manning and company going back to work. 10:49 left in the first. Manning's numbers, and they're getting better. Remember, Peyton had surgery to remove an infected bursa sac in his knee in July. Did not play at all, wasn't in training camp, was ready on opening night, but it took him a while to get rolling. But rolling he's been in the last 3 games. He has 7 touchdown passes and no interceptions over the last 3. Under pressure here, flushed out of the pocket, chased from behind, and dumps it off incomplete. Marcus Harris, the outside linebacker, 92, forcing him out of the pocket. It'll be second down. But, John, there's no question that Peyton, he didn't want to talk about it, doesn't want to use the surgery as an excuse, but there's no question when you look at him now as opposed to September, vast difference.
Well, and he's getting back to the same old Peyton Manning we know, but he's still not all the way there. I mean, he lost a lot of weight, and he missed training camp, missed preseason, and I think he's just now starting to catch up.
Here's a guy who ran for 105 yards against the Texans last week. But the big space filler, 76, Jamal Williams, says, you're not going anywhere.
Yeah, and you're not going to run inside if you don't block Jamal Williams. And you better get a double team on him because there's no way that a center is going to block him. And you watch Jeff Saturday, one of the best centers in the league, he was trying to go away, and he was trying to influence him. And Jamal Williams just worked right through him.
Cesare was also in on the play. You saw Sean Merriman on the sidelines, and Manning is flushed out again. This is Clark making the catch, but he gets wrapped up by Quentin Jammer. And so it's a 3-and-out at the 48-yard line, and a very happy guy is the new defensive coordinator of the San Diego Chargers, one Ron Rivera, who got the job halfway through the season when they fired Ted Cottrell. So it's Rivera's unit now.
Right, and he's a pressure guy, and on that third down and the other third down, he brought pressure. So that's the difference between he and Ted Cottrell. You talk about Ron Rivera, and he comes from Buddy Ryan, he comes from Jim Johnson. He comes from the best thing you can do to a quarterback is put him on his back.
His unit forcing a second Colt punt in the first 5.5 minutes of the game, and that is very unusual. Sproles will go for the fair catch and make it at the 17-yard line. Second possession for the Chargers coming up when we come back to San Diego. USS Midway, the deck of it right there. Tremendous military presence, of course, in San Diego as we come back to play. And Chris Chambers makes the catch. And here is Tomlinson. They'll be a little shy of the first down. They get Hayden back from an injury as you look at Tomlinson. And for LaDainian, Andrea talking about it before the game, his average is 3.8 yards per rush, which is below the league average, which is always 4.0 or 4.1. In his career, 4.5. So a big drop off there, carrying the ball a little less. But as Andrea told you, North Turner would love to see him carry somewhere between 25 and 30 times tonight.
Yeah, and when you run the ball, you have to run it effectively, and you have to get first downs. If you have too many 3-and-outs, you don't get the opportunities to run it.
And like here it is, yeah, and that's exactly what you're talking about. You get the opportunity, but it's Melvin Bullitt who's taking the place in the starting lineup of Bob Sanders. Bullitt's done a great job this season for them. In fact, last night Tony Dungy talking about his best defensive players named Gary Brackett and Bullitt as the best this year.
Yeah, and you see, we talk about the 8th man up and the 8th man in the box, and the extra linebacker on that play there was Melvin Bullitt. You saw him just lining up like a linebacker. In other words, just okay, we dare you to run. We have 8 men up here to stop, and the Chargers ran right into it.
Cypher's first kick was 41 yards. This one is deeper. It's 45 yards. It is Ratliff with the return, and he is taken out of bounds at about the 33-yard line. No score. We mentioned Ron Rivera taking over for Ted Cottrell. Rivera had been coaching the inside linebackers. He was the defensive coordinator of the Chicago Bears, and it was kind of an interesting, I don't know, you couldn't call it ascension, because it looked at one point as if Rivera was one of the hottest assistants in the league and would be a head coach. From the 33-yard line, this is a guy, and instead, not only does he not become a head coach, he gets fired in Chicago, comes here as a position coach, and then when they fire Cottrell, winds up running the defense.
Right, and it was after they got back from London, and I asked Ron, how did it happen? And said Norv just called him in and said, you're now the defensive coordinator. They didn't feel they were getting better. They felt that they were making the same mistakes in week 8 that they were making in week 1.
Exactly how he put it. The catch is made by a die. but he is short of the first down. It will be 3rd and short. Clinton Hart and Quentin Jammer in on the tackle with 6:40 to go in the opening quarter.
Yeah, this is the thing. You say, what's the difference in Ron Rivera? He just loves this. I mean, you got that linebacker up there. They don't count him. He gets the pressure. He makes Peyton Manning throw the ball before he wants to. And that's their whole defense is make him throw it before he wants to. Don't let him sit back there and read and step up in the pocket. Make him step sideways.
3rd and 1, big number 95. That's Darrell Reed, who's a defensive tackle at fullback, and Manning takes a look at the defense and says, I'll take a timeout right here. 3rd down and 1, 6:10 to go. Opening quarter, nothing. They have a 3rd and 1 now at their own 42-yard line. Each team has punted twice. Highest percentage on 3rd and 3 or less in the league for converting. The fake to a dive. Great protection from Manning, and then he finds the open man, Reggie Wayne, at the 32. Tremendous protection that time. A dive staying in, Reed staying in, Manning surveying the field, and then Reggie Wayne over the middle for the big gain on a 1st down.
And this is what you don't see from the Colts as much this year is this kind of protection, again, because of the play-action pass. Because you have 2 backs there in the backfield. They both stay in and block. You see Dallas Clark, the tight end, stays in and block. So that is maximum protection. So that's going to give them time.
26-yard gain, and now a die is able to knife through a hole over the left side before he's taken down by Clinton Hart at the 26-yard line. Gain of 6, 2nd down and 4. The catch for Wayne, a team-leading 57th of the season.
You know, one of the things that, Peyton Manning always talks about is, we're a passing team, we're a no-huddle team, we're all those things. But to make it all work, to tie it all together, we have to be able to run the ball. And they're 32nd in the league. They're last in the league in rushing.
And they have their running back a dive wide to the left. They work it to him as he slants in, and he'll pick up the 1st down. Needed 4, got 5. And a dive gets taken down by Jamal Williams at the 21, and that's another Indianapolis 1st down.
And I think that's one of the reasons that they don't run very well, because they play so much shotgun. And, once you're in the shotgun, it's difficult to run the ball. They do have some runs from shotgun, but they used to be a lot more T and a lot more this kind of running.
And a dive. Picks up 6. The dive looked like he was starting to stumble and then was able to cut to his right. Wilhelm takes him down at the 15-yard line. That's another gain of 6, 2nd down and 4.
Yeah, we talk about, having to get the nose tackle block, and this is a way to do it. I mean, Jeff Saturday does a good job, but he gets help from his right guard, Mike Pollard. And that's the only way you're going to get movement on Jamal Williams. Jamal Williams, one of the best nose tackles or interior defensive linemen in football.
Empty backfield. They've got Rhodes in the game, normally a running back. He's wide right. 2nd and 4 from the 15. And a quick pass over the middle is incomplete, intended for Anthony Gonzalez, who's become Manning's favorite 3rd down target. Now do we get to a 3rd and 4. Cooper on the coverage.
Yeah, and Antoine Cason is there, and they've been playing this whole defense. The Chargers are with Case on there. He is the nickel back, so they've been playing with 5 defensive backs, and that's the adjustment that Ron Rivera expected, that they'll play 3 wide receivers or some form of that. So we're going to have to play the whole game with 1 less linebacker and 1 more defensive back.
3rd and 4 from the gun. 3 receivers to the right. Manning looking over the middle, throws. Clark makes the catch and is able to reach out and pick up the 1st down. Tackled there by Wilhelm. Love to go to Clark, tight end in name, but they love to flex him, send him out wide, and of course he's been a great receiver through the years.
Yeah, and when they go 3 wide receivers, they just leave him there at the tight end position. And again, the Chargers said they want to be physical with him because they've been having trouble with tight ends. They were physical with Clark, but he still got the 1st down.
1st and goal, the ball at the 10-yard line. A little over 3 minutes to play in the quarter. And Cooper gets into the backfield and forces the pass incomplete. 2nd down and 10.
That's the thing that play to Dallas Clark. They like that so much that they go 3 guys, like you said, over on the right, get the defense to rotate that way, get the defense to think that way, and then come back against the grain. And when you have a guy like Dallas Clark back against the grain, that's a pretty good thing. Now they're 3 by 1, 3 to the left, 1 to the right.
Out of the gun, a dive flanking Manning. Chargers coming, and a draw, and Wilhelm is right there with Cooper. The 2 inside backers converge, and a die goes nowhere. 3rd and goal.
And again, this is the Ron Rivera difference, the pressure. You can look at Cooper. He's looking right there at Peyton Manning. He was going to get out of him, and then the draw runs right into him. But again, that's the difference. The pressure defense, you get down close, we're going to bring pressure. That's Buddy Ryan. That's Jim Johnson. That's where Ron Rivera came from.
3rd and goal. Manning working against the league's worst pass defense statistically. Peyton throwing over the middle, caught at the 7-yard line by Wayne. He can only get to the 5, and that'll set up a field goal attempt. Stephen Cooper in on that play as well.
Sometimes receivers, and Reggie Wayne is a tough guy. I mean, in fact, Peyton Manning calls him a warrior, and Peyton Manning had to go underneath on that play because the Chargers down here in this area played a cover 2. They had 2 deep safeties, so they couldn't get the fade, they couldn't get deep, and they had to come underneath. But when you have to go underneath, then you have to try and break that thing.
Vinatieri with a 23-yard field goal. That's good for the first points of the game with 1 minute and 42 seconds remaining in the first quarter. 3-0 Indianapolis. For Manning now, that's the longest streak of his career without an interception. 136 passes, none in the last 3 games, plus the first quarter here. And we talked about the fact, coming back from the surgery and not playing Manning like, let's say, in the first 7 games, and it's reflected right there. The team's record was 3-4. 10 touchdowns in 7 games, and then 7 in the last 3. And look at the interceptions, 9-0. First 7 to last 3, and the rating, of course, is 104 as opposed to 79. So getting healthier, getting back in sync. Harrison seems to be back as well, and as we said, John, this is a team probably not going to win the division for the first time in a long time because of Tennessee, despite their loss today, looking for a wild card. Favorable remaining schedule, trying to get on a roll.
Right, and it's a team that's moving up, and that's where you want to be. After 10 games, you want to be getting better as you go into the playoffs, becoming a playoff team. And I think there are some teams that are ascending, some teams staying the same, some teams going down, and I think this is one of the teams that are going up. And it was funny talking to Peyton Manning last night. I said, geez, last time you were here, you had 6 interceptions, and he just changed the subject. He started saying, well, 3 games, we're 3-0, we're getting our confidence, haven't had, and he didn't even answer the question.
Sproles runs it back to the 7th. When somebody brings something like that up, you don't want to hear about it.
No, he's a very positive guy, and it was the night before a game, and it was probably not very good of me to bring it up, but he wasn't going to hear it, and he wasn't going to talk about it, and he just changed the subject.
That was an amazing game. It was a Sunday nighter last year. Many of you remember it. Manning threw 6 interceptions. Indianapolis was racked by injuries. They could barely put 11 guys on the field, either offensively or defensively. And they almost won the game, and they would have won it, perhaps, if Vinatieri had kicked a 29-yard field goal toward the end.
Now the Chargers are giving them some of that 3 wide receivers.
Over the middle, dump it off to Tomlinson with a little spin move, a reverse spin. LT to the 25, gain of 8. Freddie Keaho makes the stop, and San Diego still looking for its initial first down of the game in the waning moments of the period.
Yeah, and that's what Phillip Rivers was talking about the other day, expecting that kind of defense and having to throw those kinds of passes that, they're not going to give you anything deep. For most of the time, unless you're going to run, they're going to keep those 2 safeties deep, although they have the safety on the line now.
And here's Tomlinson going nowhere. It'll be 3rd down and 2. Deontay Dawson and Freddie Keaho in on the stop as they loaded the front, did Indianapolis.
Yeah, and you can see here, you know, we talk about the 8-man. Here's the 8th man right here, and they bring him up. So, and he's the guy that's going to get up there and make the tackle, although they did have a guy on him. I'll say this about the Charger offensive line. A couple of years ago, when they were good, or even last year, they were more physical. This offensive line this year, for whatever reason, is not a physical offensive line.
3rd and 2, Rivers out of the gun. Here come the Colts, and Rivers pass. Reaching for it is Floyd to make the catch. As he gets position, they throw it over Antoine Bethea. That's a gain of 31, and that's the way the Chargers pick up their first down of the game. On a big 3rd and 2 as the clock ticks down, and that's the end of the first quarter with the score in Indianapolis 3, San Diego nothing. And Sunday Night Football is back after these messages. Second quarter in San Diego. Al Michaels, John Madden, Andrea Kramer. Sunday Night Football. Let's go back to the last play of the quarter. 3rd and 2 and a 31-yard reception by Malcolm Floyd.
And you see Malcolm Floyd, you know, very tall, and Phillip Rivers loves to throw to him and loves to just give him a jump ball out there. And he was on Antoine Bethea, who is normally a safety, but because the Chargers were three wide receivers, he was playing corner.
6'5" against 5'11", and a nice move by Brandon Manamaliuna. The number 2 tight end to Antonio Gates gets upended by Hayden and Session, and it's close to a first down and is.
Yeah, that's the thing. When you run a crossing pattern, you are in danger right here of getting upended. When you get Manamaliuna, you know, who weighs over 300 pounds as a tight end, and you're a corner, you know one thing, you are going to take him low.
9th catch of the year for him. Gates, meanwhile, the tight end, with 40 catches. He's their leading receiver. And this is caught by Gates. So Gates finally gets into the swing, and Gates picks up a first down and a gain of 13. And here's a flag coming in at the end of the play as he gets taken down by Clint Session.
Bill Rivers said the other day that he wanted to get Antonio Gates involved in the game early. And you always have these kinds of plays that you're insured to get the guy involved early.
United Nations.
Well, we have 2 brothers.
There is no foul for a late hit.
The
result of the play is a first down, San Diego.
The back judge is Tony's territory,
right.
Gene's brother.
You see what he does? He starts to fake like he's going to block, then let the linebackers run off, and then just come underneath there and get what in essence is a screen pass.
And it wasn't a late hit. That was what they waved off at the end of the play. Tomlinson, and now Tolbert is in the backfield. He's a rookie fullback from Coastal Carolina. And Tomlinson will follow him, but coming through to make the tackle is Gary Brackett. One guy that they do miss is Lorenzo Neal. Neal had been here for a lot of years. He was the fullback. He provided the leverage for Tomlinson. He wanted his release. He winds up in Baltimore, and they have the rookie right now, Tolbert, as the blocking back.
Yeah, and that was his man right there. He's supposed to block Brackett right there. He doesn't get him blocked. Brackett makes a heck of a tackle on LaDainian Tomlinson.
Now Darren Sproles comes into the game in the backfield, the return specialist, shortest player in the league. They list him at 5'6", 2nd down and 8. And here goes Sproles, and sometimes he can hide, but not that time. Robert Mathis at 6'2", 245 takes him down. Crowd doesn't like the play call, and it's 3rd and 8.
Well, you know, anytime you get Sproles in there, you think they're going to run screen or draw, so they're trying to foul him up and run inside, but that doesn't do anything at all to Robert Mathis. And Sproles is thinking, oh, geez, I thought we were going to catch him there, because that was the thing that, you know, when he comes in, he's in the backfield, that everyone plays screen or draw, you know it's going to be a pass. And then so they were trying to foul him up by running the ball inside the Sproles.
He's still in there in the shotgun. Now he goes out into the pattern. to make the catch here, but he's going to get taken down at the 17, a little shy of the first down by Kewan Ratliff, and Nate Kading will come in to try to tie the game with a field goal.
You know, one of the best pass rushers in all of football is Dwight Freeney. One of the best moves that he has is a spin move. Watch it right here. You see him on McNeil. He starts up, gets into him, and then spins to the inside. Luckily, Phillip Rivers got the ball out of there before Freeney got there.
Freeney got hurt here last year, Lisfranc surgery. Couldn't walk for weeks. But he's back and playing very well of late. 35 yards field goal by Kading is good. 11:43 to go, first half, 3-3. And back in San Diego, Titans losing for the first time this season today. Guys, of course, will have everything for you at the half. Game tied 3-3 here, early second quarter. Nate Kading will kick off. Chad Simpson ready to run it back. From the 4. Simpson up past the 20, the 30, and a good run back for the rookie Chad Simpson. Anthony Waters is able to push him out of bounds. Meanwhile, there's Jeff Saturday, the long-time Colts center. They were working on his calf before. He missed 2 games earlier this year with a knee issue. And Jamie Richard, who started the season, as Saturday appears to be maybe going back to the locker room. There's the rookie from Buffalo, is the center.
It was ironic talking to Peyton Manning last night. He said, the guy that I missed most when he was out of the lineup, talking about offensive linemen, receivers, running backs, whatever position, he said, when I played without Jeff Saturday was the toughest adjustment I had to make.
Dominique Rhodes is the running back. Manning will throw, set up the screen to Rhodes. You know, one thing they're playing with right now is a rookie center and a rookie right guard, and we go to Andrea.
Well, yes, Jeff Saturday has a calf injury. They're calling him questionable now. They iced the calf. They taped his foot, ankle, and calf. He tried to take some snaps with it, squatted, couldn't put any weight on it, limped badly over to the cart, and he is in the locker room right now, guys.
Meanwhile, you have a flag here for a false start.
Number 67, 5-yard penalty, second down.
Tony Hugo, the second-year left tackle. He'd been heard. I mentioned before, only Ryan Deem on that offensive front has started every game. So, you know, you had Manning coming off the surgery and missing training camp. You have a running game that's last in the league. And part of the problem, obviously, is the fact you have no consistency up front.
Yeah, and then again, this whole shotgun thing, a lot more shotgun means less running attempts, and it also means less play action. 2nd and 13.
That catch is made by Marvin Harrison up to the 38-yard line. That's going to set up a 3rd down and 5.
You know, when the Chargers looked at last year's film when they played in the playoff game against the Colts, the thing that they could notice that was different was they had so much more energy, and they hadn't been playing with that kind of energy, you know, in the last couple of weeks. I feel that they are tonight in this first half.
Well, the game is not quite do or die, but only because Denver was shocked by Oakland today. Otherwise, it would be do or die. 3rd and 5. The ball is at the 38-yard line. Manning throws. Gonzalez makes the catch. I mentioned that Gonzalez has become his favorite 3rd down target. Case in point right there. Cromartie stops him. That's the 16th 3rd down catch made by Gonzalez this season.
You know, and part of that is the position. I mean, a lot of times that's a zone there, and he just runs and out on a zone. But most quarterbacks will look to their inside guy on 3rd down. And usually that slot guy, the guy playing this position on 3rd down, will usually be the biggest receiver.
4-man rush. The line does a very good job. The pass thrown into double coverage is intercepted by Quentin Jammer. And so the Colts, who've not had a turnover in 3 games, throw a pick to the Chargers, who've not had a takeaway in 4 games. San Diego ball. 5, Minnesota knocking off Jacksonville. That's next Sunday night from the 11-yard line after the Jammer interception. his second of the year. This is Tomlinson picking up 3. And back we go to the Chargers' 7th pick of the year.
Yeah, what they're in is a cover 4 or quarters coverage right here. You see Marvin Harrison splits the safety and the corner. He had a step on Quentin Jammer. If Peyton Manning gets that ball out there, that could have been a touchdown because Marvin Harrison did have a step. That ball was poorly thrown or underthrown.
It's something that Manning has done over the last year and a half to the extent he never did it before, underthrowing guys more than 20 yards downfield. 2nd and 7. Rivers steps away, and then the pass is low, so he buys time. Mike Tolbert, the intended receiver, 3rd down and 7 after Manning gets picked off for the first time in his last 140 passes.
The Chargers haven't had good starting field position. It seems like they've always been backed up, and the two things you want to do out of that is you either want to run the ball and get out of there and get a couple first downs, or go play action pass and get a big chunk.
Vincent Jackson in the game now, wide to the right.
3 wide receivers.
Gates tight on the right side. Rivers slides left again, throws wide open, 33-yard line. Catch is made by Malcolm Floyd, who earlier had that 31-yard reception on a 3rd down and 2. This one is good for 23.
The first thing you have to do on 3rd down is you have to get that pass protection. Marcus McNeil does a good job there on Dwight Freeney and gives Phillip Rivers a little more time to get that ball downfield to Floyd. And if you say who is Phillip Rivers' favorite receiver now, I think you'd have to say Malcolm Floyd, wouldn't you?
Becoming it at 6'5", caught 2 tonight. Here's Tomlinson. He finally has some room to roam and gets out to the 43-yard line. He's tackled there by Clint Session. That's his 8th carry of the night, 22 yards. So, John, what do you think about Tomlinson? You've been watching him, of course, on film, and we've seen him live once before against New England. I think we know his numbers are down. What are you seeing from him?
That he's not what he used to be. I think the toe is better. He's making better cuts now. That the last time we were here, he couldn't cut off that right foot. He can now. He's not finishing his runs. He's not finishing the inside run. When he gets to the boundary, he's going out of bounds too easily.
2nd and 4. Good move by Rivers. Rivers will take off. Doesn't run very much, but does with effectiveness here because he's forced to. Out to the 50-yard line. 1st down. Last time we were here, take a look at Tomlinson against New England.
Well, here he couldn't make that cut. I mean, you watch when he takes that right foot, instead of pushing off it, he just brings it out of the ground. And he couldn't push off that right foot because he couldn't push off that right toe. That big toe in his right foot. And now he can do that. He can do that now, but he's still not powerful at the end of runs.
Here's Tomlinson again, trying to get outside. Freddie Keaho coming up from his outside linebacker spot. Freddie coming home, played his college football in this stadium at San Diego State.
Freddie Keaho, the whole defense of the Colts is undersized, and Freddie Keaho, one of those undersized linebackers. And if you're going to be undersized, you have to be what Freddie Keaho is. You have to have good speed, and you have to be a very, very good tackler.
Colts with the lightest and maybe fastest defense in the league, noted for that for the past few years. 2nd down and 11, and that pass is caught on the outside by Chambers, who hops over the bench. Chris Chambers, who came over a couple of years ago from the Miami Dolphins, and they'll mark the ball right in front of Norv Turner, close to a 1st down, and Gene Steratore now also saying, hold on a second.
Good move by Chambers there. 1. You got that right toe down, didn't you?
23 seconds. 23 seconds on the play clock, please.
That was man-to-man coverage. Kelvin Hayden just back for the first time in weeks against Chris Chambers.
They're calling it a catch. They're going to bring in the chain gang from the other side of the field, right in front of the bench. The yellow line obviously is unofficial. Would appear to be half a yard short in that neighborhood. It's about what he is. So that makes it 3rd down and inches. Tony Dungy, 7th year with the Colts. He's trying to get the Colts into the playoffs for a 7th consecutive year, and a man who a couple of weeks ago went over the 200 game coaching mark. He and Tom Coughlin both did it on the same day, and Tony at the 200 mark with the 3rd best record all time.
And you asked him last night if he'll get to the 300 mark.
You're right. He said absolutely not.
No.
And there's the anointed successor. That's the associate head coach, Jim Caldwell, who has already been named as the successor when Tony Dungy steps aside.
We talked with him last night, and he's a very bright and a very, very impressive guy. I was impressed with Jim Caldwell.
Very much so. Tomlinson on 3rd and inches, and he'll get a couple of yards plus those inches as he's stopped by Freddie Keaho inside the 40. First down San Diego with 5.5 to go in the half.
There, he did it then. You know, I said that one of the things I noticed that Tomlinson hadn't been doing this year is just finishing a run. Watch him here. He makes that cut and gets inside, puts his shoulder down, and after contact still gets another yard or two. I mean, right there, he puts his shoulder down, although he gets straightened up pretty good, but he does get that first down. He ran tough that time.
Nice skinny. Bring 90. Hey, I'm going to 55.
Mono Molina sets up in the slot to the right, stays in the block. Rivers has time. Rivers going deep into a lot of coverage, but he's able to thread it into Vincent Jackson for a touchdown. "39 yards on a 1st and 10. Rivers to Jackson for the first touchdown of the game.
You always say don't throw into coverage, don't throw into double coverage. Here he threw into all kinds of coverage, but when you make a throw like Phillip Rivers just did, you can do this. Look at, I mean, there were 4 defenders around him, and he just ran right through that zone. Vincent Jackson makes a heck of a catch, but getting in that position by him was big.
Rivers with a league-leading 22nd touchdown pass of the season.
Always plays well here.
Kading for the extra point. That's only the 3rd touchdown pass allowed by the Colts in 10.5 games this season. San Diego 10, Indianapolis 3. .456 remaining in the first half. San Diego leading Indianapolis 10-3. The Colt defense over the last 30 games, that's almost 2 full seasons, had allowed 1 touchdown pass of 20 or more yards. They give up 1 here. That was a 9-play, 89-yard drive. 5 rushes, 4 passes, a 39-yard scoring pass, and this is Keontae Dawson, who gets a rare run back. When you're a defensive tackle, it is a rare run back to the 29-yard line off that whatever kind of boot that was by Kading. So here we go, the communication. Tom Moore sending in concepts into Peyton Manning's helmet, and Jeff Hurd on the sideline with Ron Rivera for San Diego.
And, you know, because he doesn't have Dobbins in there, who's his linebacker all the time, who does receive the defense, then they have to use hand signals. And again, they can't huddle up anyway, so it's more important that everyone gets a hand signal.
From the 29-yard line out of the shotgun, Manning throws over the middle, and that's incomplete. The pressure was on. Intended for Gonzalez. It'll be 2nd down and 10.
And Ron Rivera on the right is calling defenses. Jeff Hurd signals them in, but again, he's bringing a lot of blitz. And you know, Tom Moore on the other side, on the Colts side, is starting to say, okay, we're getting more pressure. We're going to have to get into a little more maximum protection and/or play action pass, I would think.
And a whistle before the snap.
Offside, neutral zone infraction. Number 92 of the defense. 5-yard penalty, second down.
Marcus Harris. Out to the 39-yard line right now. It'll be second down and 5, and that is the first penalty of the game. We've seen a couple of flags, but they picked them up and said no foul.
Yeah, you just look at that shot of Phillip Rivers over there, and he really looks like a guy who's gaining his confidence as this game goes on. That throw to Vincent Jackson is a heck of a throw.
Underneath, the pass is caught by Dallas Clark, and he'll be a little shy of the first down, setting up a 3rd and 1. Matt Wilhelm in on the tackle.
And again, I think the Charger defense is doing a couple of things very well. They're pressuring Peyton Manning, not letting him get comfortable at all. Manning has not been comfortable in this first half, and they're very aggressive. They have a lot of energy, and they're tackling very well.
The dive behind Reed, trying to pick up the first down. He'll get it. And plenty more into San Diego territory. Weddle is out there, and finally, as he cuts back, a dive falls down, angry with himself at the 40-yard line, and it was Darrell Reed taking Antonio Cromartie out of that play to turn it into a big gain on 3rd and short.
Yeah, here's Darrell Reed right there, and he's going to block the end man. Cromartie wants no part of that, so there's no force. Joseph Adai feels it, cuts back against the grain, does a heck of a job. Now he has to get it turned up. Weddle is on him, and he's trying to make a cut, and I would guess that he just slipped, because you know that Joseph Adai doesn't want to go down right there.
39-yard line, Manning will throw, and that's a short gain. He goes to Rhodes, Dominic Rhodes. He's tackled by Eric Weddle as we tick down to the 3-minute mark in the first half.
Yeah, the Chargers haven't used a lot of this, what we call cover 4 quarters, where you play the corners and the safeties, the 4 guys across, but they're doing more of that, more cover 4 and cover 2 with Ron Rivera.
2nd and 5 from the 34. And Rhodes stopped at the line of scrimmage, maybe a very minimal gain. 3rd down coming up.
Yeah, you look what the defense is doing to Peyton Manning. 11 of 16, short. So most of his passes have been the short ones, and then when he tried to get that one deep one in there, he underthrew it.
Picked off by Jammer, and from that spot, San Diego was able to move 89 yards for the game's only touchdown. Crowd rising as 1 on 3rd down and 5. Manning in the shotgun.
I would expect pressure, and here it comes.
5-man rush. Is swinging out to Rhodes, and he's going to get the first down. So they got it to Dominique in the flat on the right side, and on 3rd and 5, he gets to the 21-yard line, and we go to the 2-minute warning after Jammer makes the tackle. Colts moving. 2 minutes to go in the half. 10-3 Chargers. The boys are getting ready back at 30 Rock across the country. Toyota halftime show. Jets win, Giants win. Andy Reid sits Donovan McNabb down in the second half. Philly gets bombed by Baltimore. Some of the subject matter at halftime. 2 minutes to go, first half. 1st and 10, Indy at the Charger 21-yard line, and that is Tony Hugo. Tony Hugo as a rookie.
Offense, number 67, 5-yard penalty, first down.
Had a penalty called against him in his first game. Then he went a year and a half. He had 3 penalties called on him last week in the same series, and now 1 tonight.
Yeah, I kind of reverted back to my days playing. Oops is a good word. And when you miss the snap count and you jump as a player, you don't say oops.
Yeah, you can make it 2 tonight against him. So it's 5 in 2 weeks. Rhodes inside the 15, and some tough running. Dominique kicks the ball to the 12-yard line, and that time Hugo atones for the penalty by throwing a nice block to free him.
And they got right in behind Tony Hugo, and as you mentioned, with Jeff Saturday out of there, that is tough. I mean, Jamie Richard is the center in there now. Next to him is another rookie, Mike Pollock. So this is a very young inside offensive line.
Spin move by Rhodes on 2nd and 2, but he'll get stood up by Jamal Williams, and it will be 3rd down and 2 upcoming.
Look at Jamal Williams. He just kind of said, what the heck is this little guy? You send him in there? What the heck do you think he's going to do? He just kind of held him up, spun him around, and sent him back.
6'3", 348.
And then we're just talking about Jeff Saturday not being in there and being blocked by a rookie center in Jamie Richards.
3rd and 2. Trips right. Down to 48 seconds. And Manning's going to take a timeout. Timeout. Their second. They have 1 left. 3rd and 2 when we come back. Tonight's aerial coverage brought to you by Duracell. After the Colt timeout, it's 3rd down and 2 with the ball at the San Diego 13-yard line. They go 4 wide and Manning in the gun.
Right, Peyton Manning goes up to talk to his offensive line, and the Charger linebackers get in there to listen to him.
Wayne wide left. They've got Rhodes wide to the right. And you got a fade to Gonzalez for a touchdown. Gonzalez in the slot. We've talked about the 3rd down proficiency now and efficiency with Manning to Gonzalez, and it's 13 yards. And I think it looked like Turner was going, that's a pick. What are you doing?
Well, it looks like Reggie Wayne did pick. Gonzalez was the slot guy. Reggie Wayne is the outside guy, and there is the pick right there, and that's why Gonzalez is so wide open. Watch Reggie Wayne come in there, hold up, make the pick, and then Gonzalez will be open when the guy covering you has been picked by the outside receiver.
And the guy who got picked was the rookie Kaysen, as Vinatieri boots it through to tie the game. Waiting all day for Sunday night. You can understand it. He scored 6 touchdowns in his career, 5 of them on Sunday night.
Right, and Peyton Manning was getting more and more confidence in him, and he was said on last night that they've been working on that back shoulder thing, that fade that we just saw there on the pick, and he said that he used to look and try and run a pattern to that ball, and Peyton told him, no, just let the ball run the pattern for you. Just react to where the ball is. Now that one was an easy one there, but you know, when Peyton Manning takes a liking to you, he's going to talk to you, he's going to work with you, and then the most important thing, he's going to throw it to you in a big spot in the ballgame.
Game tied 10-10. Vinatieri kicking off. Sproles, who ran the opening kickoff back for a touchdown last year in this game, at the 8, up past the 20. You know, you look at that last play, that touchdown play, and you think, well, if that's not a pick, what is? But there's one difference with this pick, and that is once there's defensive contact, the pick is off. In other words, when Wayne gets contacted by Cromartie right there, then it takes the pick away.
Yeah, it's still a pick.
Right.
I mean, a pick is a pick is a pick.
It takes a pick away in the rule book.
Yeah. I mean, if you say, was it a legal pick because he was touched, then maybe you can say it's a legal pick. But it was still a pick play. I mean, he was going in there to pick off the corner so that Gonzalez could get open, and it worked.
And that's why there was no flag. Pick and roll. That was a 71-yard drive, 9 plays. They're going to give it to Tomlinson, and he's going to take it up to the 34-yard line. San Diego has 2 timeouts. The crowd wants them to call for it with a potent offense, and they're not doing it. 2nd down and 3. Rivers is rolling and looking, and he's just going to dump the ball off.
The heck was that?
Yeah, I don't know what that was. He's pleading his case, saying Tomlinson was the intended receiver.
Well, yeah, he was. I mean, it was a screen, and I think Tomlinson got held there, but the way he threw it was kind of different.
Yeah. Crowd unhappy with, you know, look, it's real simple. When you have a team that the fans expect to be 8-2 and they're 4-6, your head coach becomes about as popular as a bank CEO.
Yeah, but I kind of agree with the fans on this one. You know that you should take a shot. I mean, you're here. Your field position is pretty good, and you have good wide receivers. You can get jump ball.
And the way the crowd reacts to this, I think. Well, now they're going to take a timeout with 5 seconds.
Well, to take the shot. I mean, I would have, I would have taken a shot before that. But
yeah. I mean, you do have one. You're leaving one timeout up on the board.
I think what they were doing is they were really, in essence, just playing it safe.
Right.
Let's see if we get a first down. Now, if we get a first down, now we're safe. Now we can take a shot.
And they will get the ball starting the second half. So now you're in a situation where you got a Hail Mary opportunity. Remember, you do have the big receivers, so a Hail Mary is always some form of a jump ball. And you're going to wind up with Malcolm Floyd at 6'5", and Vincent Jackson is 6'5", and you send Gates down there at 6'4", and maybe have a chance.
Well, that's what I was thinking before they took the timeout. I mean, their field position was they were on the 35 there. It wasn't like they were backed up, and I thought that they had those same receivers then, and they could have done the same thing.
Reset the clock to 7. And Rivers will throw to the outside. That catch is made by Chambers, so there's one more opportunity now with 3 ticks.
Maybe. Yeah, I don't know that they're going to have time to get another play and a field goal try. I mean, I think this is one that they're just going to have to try and throw up into the end zone. And he got himself a little closer to make that end zone throw.
Barring a defensive foul.
Look at the Colts protection. They have 5 guys running deep. Colts defense.
And Rivers looks behind him and then gets contacted behind. And kind of a sloppy ending to the first half. End of the half here in San Diego. The Indianapolis Colts 10, the San Diego Chargers 10. Bob and the gang, the Toyota halftime show coming up on the other side of this break.
And you're not going to run inside if you don't block Jamal Williams.
4-man run. The pass going into double coverage is intercepted by Quentin Jammer. And you got a fade to Gonzalez for a touchdown.
This is Sunday night.
Back to San Diego. Al Michaels, John Madden, and Andrea Kramer with you on Sunday Night Football, Week 12. Let's take a look at the wild card situation right now in the AFC. Ravens beating Philadelphia today, and the Patriots knocking off Miami. Right now, 7-4. Colts trying to go to 7-4. Dolphins, Bills, and Chargers are right there. But the thing for the Chargers is really to win the division. That's how somebody's going to get in. Denver upset today by Oakland, so they're 6-5. San Diego has already lost to Denver in the infamous game with the penalty at the end of the game that shouldn't have been. 4-6 is the San Diego record. If they can get to the end of the season, the final game of the season is here against Denver, and they're a game back and have a division tiebreak, then that would be for the division crown and the playoff spot. But a lot of stuff's going to happen between now and then as we start the third quarter with Darren Sproles running it back from the 9 and taking it back out to the 34-yard line, and we go to the field and Andrea.
Well, I talked to Norv Turner at halftime. He said he's pleased with the pressure that they're getting on Peyton Manning. He said they're moving guys around, taking advantage of the one-on-one matchups, and giving him a number of different looks. As for Tony Dungy, spoke to him. Jeff Saturday, their Pro Bowl center, is done for the evening. He said they won't change up any of their protections because they are comfortable with Jamie Richards in there. However, Dungy's biggest concern, the big plays of the Chargers offense. He said we have to take away their deep balls. We can't let them go down the middle of our cover 2 defense.
Thank you, Andrea. And of course, they have taken away the deep ball, as we mentioned before, over the past couple of years, but they did give up the 39-yard touchdown pass. As Rivers will start this with a little fake and then throws underneath, and it's Chambers slipping a tackle, getting a first down, and being forced out of bounds by Brackett. Broke out of a Clint Session tackle.
You always think of Phillip Rivers, he doesn't run, but he's very mobile in the pocket. You know, I mean, the guy doesn't have to run around, but he just has to make a few moves. See how he does that? And then buy a little time to make those kind of plays. Then if he gets a protection, he can make what I think is the toughest throw you have to, that out throw, and that post there was a perfect throw. That was the cover 2 play that Tony was talking to Andrea about, getting deep on their cover 2.
On 1st and 10. Mono provides the leverage as the blocking back for Tomlinson, and LaDainian with his biggest run of the night to the 33-yard line, getting away again from Clint Session, who misses another tackle. That's a 20-yard gain.
Now they're starting out like the Chargers that you know. Monomaliuna in there in the backfield to lead. He leads to the left, and Tomlinson just breaks off and goes to the right. You know, so a lot of defenses will read where the lead block goes. And that's what the Colts did. They all went to that side. Tomlinson just left his lead.
20-yard gain on his 13th rush. Sproles is the back here. And Sproles gets a nice block and cuts it back inside the 20 to the 13-yard line behind a Mike Tolbert block. A 20-yard gain following Tomlinson's 20-yard gain.
Now there is some juice. When you put Sproles in there and you talk about a change of pace, watch the burst that this guy has. He makes a cut in the burst right there. I mean, he just runs right by 2 guys. He is something. This guy, he's only 5'6", but he is a very, very special player.
Tomlinson back in the game. Tolbert took Session out on that play. Session has missed 2 tackles and been blocked out of the play on the 3 plays here. Now Tomlinson will cut it back, and Kelvin Hayden will stop him at the 10-yard line. So after the first 3 plays, netted 3 first downs. It is 2nd down and 8 at the 10-yard line.
See, LaDainian Tomlinson did the same thing on this run. You see that they're going to have a lead. The lead blocker is going to go to this side. Tomlinson right now takes the ball to this side. Now that is an organized play there. I mean, that's kind of a scissors thing where you have one back going to one side, the other back going to the other side.
That time the blocking back was another rookie, Jacob Hester. 2nd down and 8 from the 10. LT stopped at the 9-yard line. Freddie Keaho is there, and it's going to be 3rd down and 7.
Remember years ago, anytime they would get in the red zone, they'd go to Antonio Gates, but not so much anymore. You know, I think with these tall wide receivers, I think that, you know, a fade to the end zone, I mean, throwing something to Malcolm Floyd or Vincent Jackson is a bigger thing for this offense now than Antonio Gates. Although they do have 2 tight ends in here. They're 2 tight ends, 2 wide receivers, and they're bringing their back out here to get empty.
It's Tomlinson, and they're going to whistle this play dead before the snap.
Ball start. Offense, number 66. 5-yard penalty. 3rd down.
It's the right tackle, Clary.
And I saw him in practice do this the other day where they would get down in this area and then they would bring the back in motion, put him out here, and then throw to the other side. They have 2 double posts to the other side. They went from 2 tight ends, 2 wide receivers. They just substituted. Now they have 3 wide receivers.
3rd and 12. Shotgun. Tomlinson in the backfield with Rivers. Phillip under pressure, and you've got a strip, you've got a fumble, and you've got a recovery, and you got Raheem Brock coming away with it. Robert Mathis came in, knocked the ball loose, forced the fumble, and Indianapolis stops San Diego after the Chargers looked like they were moving into the end zone. A series to forget for Jeremy Clary. Had a false start to make it 3rd down and 12. And then he lets Mathis get around him, as we'll take a look at it here.
Yeah, but watch Robert Mathis here. And if you're a speed rusher, the other thing that you have to have is a dip. And you see how he uses the speed, then he gets the dip to get underneath the power of Clary, and then he goes for the strip. I mean, that is a heck of a pass rush by Robert Mathis.
The drive started so promisingly with 3 good runs, and it ends with a turnover. And Manning, after the play fake, throws, and that is caught. And it is a dive, dragging Kaysen with him for a small gain.
You know, it's interesting. We were talking to Norv Turner the other day, and he said, he was talking about red zone. And most coaches will say, we get in the red zone, we want touchdowns, not field goals. And the first thing Norv said, when we get in the red zone, we don't want any of those strip fumble sacks. And I thought, man, that was number 1. And then number 2, let's get a field goal. Number 3 was a touchdown. And then, lo and behold, it happens. And I thought, that's a strange thing to think in the red zone.
2nd down and 8, pass to the outside, a die again, setting up a 3rd and a 3. Rivers having a good year, 2nd in pass rating coming into the game. Kurt Warner, number 1. But he's had some very inopportune turnovers. 2 picks and a fumble last week that resulted in a safety in Pittsburgh in what turned out to be a 1-point game, and this one here tonight.
Right, and he holds the ball all over. And he'll admit that that's one of his problems, is holding the ball too low. And then when you hold it down low or out, those pass rushers are going to go after it.
3rd and 4. Manning, a dive. So he's calling a dives number as a receiver, and a dive will pick up a 1st down.
I think what they're doing is they're doing what Peyton Manning thought they'd have to do against this defense, is kind of be patient, go for the shorter stuff, and you'll see Wayne, he's going to clear out that area, and then the back just comes right outside of him. So you have Wayne going inside, Joseph Adai going to the outside.
From the 48, Adai on the ground. He's received 5 Manning passes tonight, and that is his 9th run of the evening for 41 yards.
One of the big weakness of this San Diego Charger 4-6 team this year has been their defense, and they haven't been aggressive, and they haven't made things happen, and they haven't played with a lot of energy, and all those things that I thought before, they're not doing tonight. They're doing the opposite.
2nd down and 8. Manning to a die again. And all a die on this drive. And a die is to the 46 of San Diego. And a 3rd down and 4 now for the Colts, who line up in a hurry. Manning wants to get him to the line. That allows San Diego to move personnel around, but they're able to do so.
Chargers made 2 substitutions. The tough thing about having the rookie center in there is it's not only the guys that he has to block, but you can see right here, Jamie Richard has to make protection calls.
Play clock to 2 on the snap. And then Manning over the middle to Gonzalez, and it's another 3rd down reception by Gonzalez, who gets run out of bounds by Clinton Hart deep in San Diego territory. They'll spot the ball at the 17 after a gain of 29.
At some point on 3rd down, you would think people are going to say, hey, we just have to double Gonzalez. We have to bracket him. We have to inside out him, so that he can't run these kind of option things. If you play inside, he'll go out. If you play outside, he'll come in. But quarterbacks love the guy in that position on 3rd down.
Rhodes tackled there by Giles Tucker. He's the guy who replaced Sean Merriman. And again, Merriman, we talked about it, gone for the season after the first game with a knee injury. And on the Indianapolis side, if you tuned in late, Bob Sanders not playing again. 7th game he has missed this season of the 11.
Right, and when you talk about the heart and soul of the Charger defense, it was that guy Sean Merriman, and to me, when you talk about the heart and soul of the Colt defense, it's Bob Sanders.
2nd and 9. Harrison is the man in motion to the outside to Clark, and Clark will get slung down out of bounds by Quentin Jammer, and again it will be a 3rd down and short for the Colts.
What they're doing is the Chargers are using a lot of cover 1 or man coverage here. So what they can do is they can run guys to the inside. You see they have 2 guys coming inside and then throw the ball to the outside. At some point, you can get a mismatch on one of your better receivers against their lesser cover guy.
3rd and 1. Again, Gonzalez, they love to go to on 3rd down. The man in the slot, number 11, Wayne to his left. Harrison in the slot to the right. And Manning's going to take a timeout. 6:39 remaining in the 3rd. In a 10-10 game in San Diego. Manning in the clutch tonight. Look at that. 9 out of 10 and 7 of those completions for a first down. Their only touchdown came on a 3rd down play. And here we are again with a 3rd and 1. Rhodes is the running back. Line of scrimmage is the 8. Gonzalez in the slot to the left. They give it to Rhodes. Big hole inside the 5. Trying to get to the goal line, and they come up just short. But it's a first down again. 1st and goal just outside the goal line behind Charlie Johnson's block that time.
Yeah, that's what Peyton Manning does so well. No huddle. Get to the line of scrimmage. Make a couple signals. Signs to the outside receivers. Everyone's playing pass on that down, and he just runs it into Dominique Rhodes. And there's some soft spots on the inside because the Chargers are in a pass rush mode. They won't be here, though.
Now they come up tight. Manning gets flanked by 2 guys in the backfield, and they give the ball to Rhodes, and he's going to get taken down by Jamal Williams, the nose tackle. So it'll be 2nd down and goal after they lose a yard.
Did you see what Jamal Williams did there, how he got to that position? Watch him. He's right here. Now watch what he does. He just goes right over the center, and then he ends up 4 yards in the Colt backfield. Every time I've seen Jamal Williams play live, he's been a Superman.
Same formation. Now a little shovel pass, and that won't go anywhere for Rhodes. And again, it's Williams who's at the bottom of that pile. 3rd and goal.
I know that if I have a goal line play, I'm going to figure out a way that I'll get this guy blocked right here, because he just dominates. And when you get in a running situation, Jamal Williams dominates the line of scrimmage. And then you got a rookie center trying to block him. Whoa. It's a man's job.
Colts have been great, as you can see, when they get inside the 5, but now they're down to 3rd down and goal. The play clock is down to 2. It's down to 1, and Manning looks over, and Manning's going to have to take another timeout, and the Chargers are saying he didn't get it in time. It should be delay of game. But Steratore said, yes, he did. Timeout, Indianapolis. Remember, a rookie center in there, Jamie Richards, 7th rounder. Manning couldn't get the snap, had to take the timeout. 3rd down and goal. Indianapolis has now used 2 timeouts already in this half. 3rd and goal. And they're going to run it again and trying to get to the goal line and not getting there because Steve Gregory comes up as Dominique Rhodes. So they have Rhodes do the heavy lifting inside the 2-yard line. He can't get in, and it's 4th and goal.
Yeah, again, it's tough to run down here, and it's tough to run against Jamal Williams. You see in there Stephen Cooper. He gets his head in there and gets his helmet knocked right off, making a collision there. Good tackling. This is tough, and they're going to go for it on 4th down.
Going for it on 4th and goal. The play clock is already down to 3. They snap it at 1. Manning under pressure throws, and it's going to be caught by Rhodes for a touchdown. Whoa, boy.
Now that's all Peyton Manning.
A fire drill. It's with a rookie center, and you're inside, and you can't take a timeout because you've already used 2 of them. And you get it to Rhodes, and you snap it at 1. Fabulous.
Yeah, and that's the way that he does it. I mean, Rhodes, you say, where did he come from? He is split out as a wide receiver. So when you put your back out, then that means a linebacker has to go out and cover him. Peyton Manning sees that mismatch, and he has Rhodes on Stephen Cooper, and he takes it for the slant for the touchdown.
Vinatieri for the point after. How unusual is it for Rhodes to catch a touchdown pass? 8 years in the league. That's only his 3rd touchdown reception. So after the Rivers fumble, down the field they go 66 yards to take a 7-point lead. San Diego on this Sunday night. Good ball game, 17-10. Indianapolis on top. So Rhodes can't run it in, then they throw it to him and he gets it in. And now Vinatieri will send it toward the western end zone where Darren Sproles will run it back from the 2. And the 5'6" Sproles brings it back up to the 28-yard line, tackled there by Silva. San Diego ready for its 2nd possession now of the 2nd half. 3:45 left in the 3rd. 17-10 Indy. From the 27-yard line, 1st down for San Diego. 2nd possession of the half. And here's Tomlinson, who gets started with a nice run to the 35-yard line. And back we go to the 4th and goal.
Yeah, we look here what Peyton Manning is working with. Here's the clock down here. Here's Dominic Rhodes out here. So that's a matchup that he's looking at. But he had to get that snap off before the time runs out. He looks out here. He likes the matchup. It's his back against Stephen Cooper, the linebacker, and he watched him all the way. That was where he was going. So it was that play against the clock.
2nd and 2. Rivers steps up, throws. That's going to be a 1st down. That's Gates, who gets dragged down by Bullitt, and Melvin is doubled over. Again, Bullitt getting the start in the absence of Bob Sanders, whose knee swelled up again.
You know, every time you hear about the Chargers, they say that they want to do 2 things. They want to run more to LT and throw more to Gates, and then they get in the games and they don't seem to do it. I mean, that's the 2nd pass that Gates has caught. Remember when they were the whole offense, you know, would be LT running and Gates catching passes, and they've really gone in different directions.
Bullitt out at the safety spot. Matt Giordano is in. Tomlinson over right guard to the 49. Let's go to Andrea.
Well, we know Bullitt and now Giordano have replaced Bob Sanders. Here's the latest on him from team president Bill Polian. He has irritation in the surgically repaired knee that he had earlier this season, which is causing swelling. They're treating it with anti-inflammatory medications and doing exercises to regain the range of motion in the knee. There's no timetable for the return because only time heals it. Now, he may need to get that knee drained to get the swelling down, but Polian's resigned that they may have him 1 week and then lose him another.
And that's kind of been the case with Sanders throughout his career. I mean, he's fantastic when he's in there. He's known as the eraser, but he can't stay in the lineup. 2nd down and 6. Rivers, and he's going to get sacked back at the 44-yard line by Robert Mathis, who's having a heck of a half.
I tell you, those 2 defensive ends, when you have Mathis on one side and Freeney on the other side, they are both going to take off when the ball is snapped and meet at the quarterback. And you saw it was Freeney that caused it. I mean, he got Rivers out of the pocket. You see, he makes Rivers run right into the sack of Robert Mathis.
One of the keys that Norv Turner told us the other day to winning this game, take care of those defensive ends. Well, he got that right. 3rd and 9. Pressure again from the backside. And a dump off to Tomlinson, and that was forced by Freeney because Rivers could probably hear him breathing. 4th down.
Well, you know, after those guys get to you, remember just a series ago he had the strip fumble, and then he has Freeney getting there, and then he has a Mathis sack. And, you know, it's not that you hear footsteps, but sometimes you start to feel pressure that maybe is a little your imagination, and you just want to get rid of the ball.
Mike Cyphers with a sky-high boot. Fair catch is signaled for and made at the 16-yard line by Kewan Ratliff. Colts, if the Colts win this game, you look at the rest of their schedule, and no coach is going to tell you it's easy. But listen to this. At Cleveland, Cincinnati at home, Detroit at home, at Jacksonville, and then Tennessee to round out the year. It's the easiest schedule in the league as a die picks up 3. And again, you know, you look at Tennessee, obviously a very good team, but by that point, they might have the top seed locked up? Who knows? But, I mean, when you've got Cleveland, Cincinnati, and Detroit out in front of you, as I say, Tony Dungy's not going to say that's easy, but you know what? It's pretty good.
No, it is easy.
Yeah.
But if you're going to go deep into the playoffs or do anything in the playoffs, you have to be a better team. And I think the Colts are, like I said earlier, they're an ascending team, but they're not there yet.
2nd and 7. That's Clark making the catch, and he's out of bounds about 3 yards shy of the first. 20 seconds left in the third.
Now, I was just saying, this team that we're seeing tonight is really not a team that would raise havoc in the playoffs. But that doesn't mean by the time the playoffs come that they won't. I mean, who would have said a year ago that the Giants were going to raise havoc in the playoffs?
Even get into the playoffs in the middle of December.
And that's, sometimes we get a little premature on that stuff, and we anoint, and you still have to play, but you have to be improving as you go into the playoffs.
Manning looking, he says, what was that all about? And the official says, into the quarter. Takes us to a station break. 17-10 Indianapolis in Sunday Night Football. San Diego resumes after these messages from your local NBC station. Aerial coverage high above Mission Valley, brought to you by Duracell. In San Diego, Al Michaels, John Madden, and Andrea Kramer. We're going to start the fourth quarter with a 3rd down play for the Indianapolis Colts. 3rd and 3 at their own 25-yard line. From the shotgun, they stack the receivers. Gonzalez behind, Wayne to the left. Manning looks that way. Manning deep down the sideline, and the pass is incomplete, but a flag is down at the 45-yard line. Antonio Cromartie with the coverage that time on Reggie Wayne.
Pass interference. Defense. Number 31. Spot foul. Automatic first down.
The Charger bench is contending that was an uncatchable ball.
Look how they stack them here on this side, and then Gonzalez runs an out, a short out, and Reggie Wayne runs up the field. He gave a little push right there at the end, but doggone, I don't like that. I mean, I think you have to let him play a little. By the rules, you can say that he did have his hands, he did push him, but.
And who else but our man Jamal Williams with the sack here?
Yeah, he's been all over the place. And they usually say that Jamal Williams is just a run stuffer or a run stopper, but he is so big and so strong that when he gets a little move and a little push, he's going to take you right to the backfield. He's going to take you right to Peyton Manning. Look at the big guy, and he's proud of that stuff under the 7 and the 6.
Says, I'm working against 2 rookies at center and right guard. Here's a dive, and Joseph will get slung out of bounds at about the 45-yard line by Quentin Jammer. Jim Caldwell, we talked about him before. Very impressive guy. I mean, Caldwell is the associate head coach. He has actually interviewed for 6 head coaching jobs over the past few years: Buffalo, Minnesota, Dallas, Atlanta, Baltimore, and Arizona. I said, what is the definition of an associate head coach? He says, apprentice. Or understudy.
Right, he's the understudy, and he wants to make that perfectly clear. There's no way that he wants to undermine Tony Dungy.
3rd and 7. And that's incomplete. Intended for Clark. Clark looks for a flag. And there is a flag down on this side of the field at the 50-yard line, and Manning is indicating it's against San Diego.
Pass interference.
And it is.
Defense, number 54. Spot foul. Automatic first down.
Stephen Cooper.
That would be a tough one. I don't think it can be 54 on this side of the field. I mean, he's right here in the middle, and I don't know how that could be pass interference on him. I mean, he doesn't do anything.
Yeah.
Unless they called it on 42, Clinton Hart. They're trying to get another pick in there, but I mean, there's no way that Cooper did anything.
No, not 54 for
And as
certain.
you said, it came on the other side of the field from where the ball was thrown.
Away from the play.
False start. Offense, number 71. 5-yard penalty. First down.
So San Diego down by 7. That's 2 consecutive pass interference penalties on third down. This penalty here on Ryan Dean.
Yeah, I think the first one was probably there, but I thought it was a little ticky-tacky. The second one was manufactured, or what you would call a phantom call. There's your defenses moving around a lot.
Manning to the outside. Harrison. One other note on Caldwell, because we talked to him last night, and as we say, he's the coach in waiting. He had a great line, talking about, thinking about taking over, the process and all of that. He said, listen, I'm no Alexander Haig. Referring back to Haig saying I'm in control here when the assassination attempt was made on Ronald Reagan back in 1981, and Haig was the Secretary of State.
Right, and he knows he's not in control there, and Tony Dungy knows it, and all the players know it. 2nd
and 12 from the 48. Manning throws over the middle. It's Gonzalez, and it is incomplete. No fumble, incomplete. And of course, the crowd incensed with all officials this year, going back to the Denver game, obviously.
Yeah, they're still booing Ed Hockland.
Right.
I don't know about that one. I think that's one you can look at. I think he has the ball. I don't know. I think I would challenge that one, wouldn't you?
Well, Turner is bringing the official over, and since the whistle had sounded, it ended it. 3rd down and 12, so he couldn't challenge it. And that pass is caught by Gonzalez along the far side, just in bounds at the 33-yard line. So another big 3rd down conversion. Nightmarish defensive scenario here for San Diego on this drive.
Right, again, you got a zone defense, but when you get up on Gonzalez, you got to at least bump him. You can't let him get a free release like that from the slot, and the Chargers have been doing that way too much to Anthony Gonzalez.
The die takes it to the 28-yard line. 2nd down and 5. So 2 pass interference penalties on 3rd down plays. A near fumble, as we said, that play was ruled not reviewable, as we said, because it was ruled incomplete on the field. Whistle had blown, and then the 3rd down conversion, and now you got another 1st down here with Joseph Adai taking it to the 20-yard line.
I think that they should have, that's something that they should change then, because if a guy catches it, has control of it, and he's running with the ball, maybe you can't give him any more yards, but I think that has to be reviewable. It's a catch. It's the same thing as any other catch or no catch rule.
Ball at the 20-yard line. Of course, the competition committee, when they look at something like that, the theory is, hey, when the whistle blows, the players are taught to stop. From the 20, Manning, and that's incomplete. The coverage that time is good on Harrison. Quentin Jammer with him step for step. And with 12 minutes to go in the 4th, it'll be 2nd down and 10.
The Colts came out, and we showed earlier how they run their passing tree, and from this exact point they ran that exact pass to Marvin Harrison 2 hours before the game. So sometimes you think, oh, these things just happen, and just pull a play out. They worked on that at 3 o'clock this afternoon.
On 2nd and 10, 4-man rush, and the pass over the middle is incomplete, off the hands of Adai, and it will be 3rd down and 10. In Indianapolis tonight, phenomenal on 3rd down. 10 out of 14.
Again, and that's a quarterback. Peyton Manning, the best quarterback in football right now, and the best quarterbacks make plays on 3rd down.
10 of 11 in these situations. And again, as we said before, he loves to go to Gonzalez. You've got trips left here. Clark is the tight end on the right. Looking toward the bunch. Hit from behind, but gets it away, and the pass is incomplete. But Sean Phillips helped to break up that play. 4th down and 10, and they'll have to settle for an Adam Vinatieri field goal attempt of about 38 yards.
Yeah, Sean Phillips gets the pressure. They slide their line, and Dallas Clark has to block the end man on the line of scrimmage, Sean Phillips, and he just kind of runs right by him. And you say, well, he didn't hit Peyton Manning, he didn't sack him, but he made him step up, and he made him throw it when he didn't want to, and throw it where he didn't want to.
After Smith to hold it, Vinatieri a 38-yard field goal attempt. And that one is good to extend the lead to 10. 11:48 remaining in the fourth quarter. Indianapolis up 20-10 in San Diego. Beautiful weekend, but not too beautiful for this crowd of almost 70,000 because they're Chargers 4-6 coming in, trying to keep Denver in their sights. Got a big break today when Denver was upset by the Oakland Raiders, but unable to take advantage of it to this point, down 20-10. Vinatieri to kick off. Sproles back to receive. Short kick. Sproles 14-yard line. Good coverage that time. Indianapolis much better this year on their coverage units. Ball at the 30-yard line. Rivers with a hill to climb. 11:43 left in the fourth. Rivers going deep into a lot of coverage, but he's able to thread it into Vincent Jackson for a touchdown.
This is Sunday night.
And that has been San Diego's only touchdown of the night. It gave them a 10-3 lead. And now down by 10, they have the ball at the 30-yard line. Begin this drive, the fake, pressure. Then the pass out here to Tomlinson, and Tomlinson to the 38-yard line. It was Dwight Freeney that time spinning his way into the backfield.
Yeah, I think Phillip Rivers felt Dwight Freeney on this one. I mean, he goes right by McNeil, and he just dipped that shoulder a little, and then got that ball out of there. I mean, that's feeling. You know, you can't look at a rush, and Phillip Rivers, knows he's probably getting pressure there, and then you feel it. You just dip your shoulder and then come up and make the throw.
The season ended here last year, and of course a regular move, and that is patented spin move as Chris Chambers makes the catch and is out of bounds at the 45-yard line.
You see a play like that, you see Phillip Rivers go back and throw it to Chris Chambers on an out, and it looks so easy. You say, why don't they just do that all night? Because they can. I mean, the Colts don't have great corners. They're playing a little soft. You're not going to get beat because the safeties will be beat, but you can hit that short and intermediate stuff.
Tomlinson. John, looking at San Diego, we've been talking about this team. Tremendously talented, and we know they've lost Merriman and all that stuff. But it seems as if, why are they just coming up short? And they're coming up short a lot this year.
I don't know. I mean, don't you feel you just watch their offense go out there that they don't have a lot of energy? They're not going out there, okay, let's go get them. Let's make something happen. That maybe the word's lethargic, but they have a little too much of that.
Rivers to the outside here. And this is the tight end Manu Malayuna trying to fight for a first down. He's either got it or he's just shy. They'll spot it just short, and it will be third down.
If they're going to do those things, we know that they have to help over here Marcus McNeil on Dwight Freeney. And that time they did. They slid the line a little. Chris Dielman, the left guard, comes out to not only give him a little bump, but to take away the inside of that spin move. 3rd and 1.
And now Tomlinson, he's going to fight for what he hopes is a first down. Clint Session is there. They spot the ball at the 45, and that will be a first down. No measurement necessary. Norv Turner, this is his second year. Remember, you had the unceremonious and sloppy parting of Marty Schottenheimer, who was going to come back, and then he winds up leaving about a month after the season ended in 06, and Wade Phillips winds up in Dallas, and Cam Cameron winds up in Miami, and then North comes in after leaving Oakland as Rivers goes back to pass. And that is caught inside the 30-yard line by Vincent Jackson at the 28-yard line. Kelvin Hayden with the coverage.
I'll tell you, that was a heck of a catch by Vincent Jackson, because at the end, when the ball gets there, it was pretty good coverage. You see a big cushion there. Now he starts at the end. He tries to undercut it, and he was right on his back. This is a heck of a throw, too, by Phillip Rivers. That's something. I mean, Kelvin Hayden gave a cushion, but boy, he had a good burst on that end.
In the 27, Rivers steps away from the pressure. Then to the outside, this is Jacob Hester, rookie third-round pick out of LSU, for a gain here of 5, second down and 5.
And they know that, you know, that they have to pass and they have to get into a passing mode. So if they're going to do that, then we better help on Dwight Freeney. And again, we saw the same thing. Guard Chris Dielman coming out, sliding to Freeney so that he doesn't have that inside on a spin move.
Second and 4. That's Hester's first career catch. Here's Rivers again, sliding left, buying time, looking for the first down marker, has it, gets out of bounds at the 11-yard line.
Well, you're talking about a guy that had a head on a swivel. Didn't Rivers have a head on a swivel? But he was seeing everyone, because first of all, he's going to get pressure from his left right there. So that makes him step up and step out. Now he looks at the inside guy coming after him, and then the outside guy. But look at that head. I mean, just moving around. And if they're not going to get there, he doesn't have to slide until he gets the first down. Then he just runs out of bounds.
At the 12.
Smartly.
Yep. Gain of 9. Ball to 12. On first and 10. Over the middle. The catch is made. He goes to Hester again. Hester fights his way to the 3-yard line. That's a gain of 9. It'll be second down and 1.
Now they're getting a little feel for it, you know, and you know, kind of taking it to these Colts here. Hester catches that underneath stuff and just runs it right up to the goal line. I mean, that's a thing that you have to do. You have to finish off runs. If they're going to drop like that, catch the short one, but make yards after the catch.
Interesting, Hester's in there because Mike Tolbert, their rookie starter, has a shoulder injury, questionable to return, so that puts Hester in the game, and he's made 2 grabs. Second and 1. Here's Tomlinson, and Ladanian gets to the 2-yard line, but is a little bit short of the first down.
See, and that's the thing where I think Tomlinson is hurting a little, where he doesn't push off. You know, he doesn't finish off a run, and you just kind of get there and goes down. And this when you get closer to the goal line, this is where you need runners that finish. You know, and you have to get that ball, and you have to take it up in there, put your shoulder down, keep those feet going, and finish. You see, he gets his feet out of the ground. The minute your feet come out of the ground, no more gain.
Third and inches. Tomlinson again. He's got the first down. He gets to the 1, so they'll move the chains. Obviously, they'd rather have the touchdown than the field goal, even though it's a touchdown field goal situation. But the other thing right now is it's taking them a long time to get into the end zone. And I know there's a lot of time left in the game. Boy, when Peyton Manning's on the other side, you want to leave yourself as much time as you can.
Yeah, and that's the thing. That, you know, this game was a little conservative early, and then, you know, here in the fourth quarter, it's going to turn into some kind of shootout.
San Diego's had the ball over 6 minutes. Rivers throwing, and that is caught for the touchdown. So Jacob Hester, the rookie out of LSU, playing because the guy in front of him has a shoulder injury, is in the game, makes his first catch of the season, and obviously his career on this drive, and that's the first touchdown of his career. 3 catches on that drive, and we're an extra point away from a 3-point game.
Right, and if you're going to go a form of play action from the I formation, first down is the down to do it on. No one was near Hester.
Kading for the point after. And so San Diego on a pretty critical drive when you think about it. Down by 10, fourth quarter, 70 yards, 12 plays, 5:36 left in regulation. Indianapolis by 3. The Chargers down by 3. Nate Kading sends the ball into the night sky into the arms of Chad Simpson. Simpson out past the 20 and gets rocked down up at the 30-yard line. 5.5 left in the fourth. Good ball game. 20-17 Colts. Going for it on 4th and goal. Manning under pressure, throws, and is going to be caught by Rhodes for a touchdown. Whoa, boy.
This is Sunday night.
And after that drive, San Diego answered with a touchdown of its own. Now in a 3-point game, first down for the Colts from the 30-yard line. They begin the drive with a dive, stepping his way up to the 35-yard line. Gain of 5, 2nd and 5.
Yeah, the Charger defense has been pretty aggressive all night, and I think they have to think that way right now. They have to continue that way. They can't let Peyton Manning take over this game, get a bunch of first downs, end the game without their offense not getting the ball again, or without their offense getting the ball again.
There are a few guys better, of course, at milking the clock than one Peyton Manning with the lead. 2nd and 5. Manning will throw over the middle, and that's going to be close to a first down. This is a die. Eric Weddle is there, going to be a little bit short. And for San Diego's defense, a very important stop coming up here only because of the clock situation. San Diego looking ahead, they do have all of their timeouts remaining plus the 2-minute warning, but they'd love to be able to conserve them.
Right, and you always think in short yardage running like this, you want to run inside, but again, you have a rookie center, a rookie right guard, and a all-pro defensive tackle that's a great run stopper. It's tough to run inside.
The die is the back. Manning takes the clock all the way down, and that is a tremendous stop by Sean Phillips. And John, you made the point behind that line.
Right, and they had to keep the aggressiveness up. Ron Rivera did that. You have to get guys up there in the line of scrimmage, and you watch Sean Phillips. He just takes the inside, flattens out right down the line, and throws for a loss. I've been impressed all night with this Charger defense, and the energy, the aggressiveness that they've been playing with, and they didn't stop here.
Huge stop in that situation as they get to save all of their timeouts. Now Hunter Smith bangs one deep, fielded by Sproles at the 9-yard line, and he gets collected right away up at the 12 by Pierre Garçon. So 3:15, all of their timeouts left for the San Diego Chargers. Down by 3 to the Colts. The road to the playoffs in the AFC West almost certainly will go through the division title. They don't figure to send a wild card to the playoffs. There's Denver 6-5, losing today. San Diego trying to stay 1 game behind, because that would put them in a position, if they go step for step with Denver through the rest of the season, to play them on the last night of the year for what could be the title. First things first, they're down by 3 here. This is Gates to the outside, gets it up to the 19-yard line. Gain of 6, 2nd and 4.
I think they have plenty of time. I mean, time isn't going to be the important thing here, because, they would like to have a drive, obviously, and score, but they would like to take time off the clock so that Peyton Manning doesn't get another shot at him.
Well, they have all of their timeouts in the 2-minute warning, and obviously, at worst, to get into field goal position, they set up the screen, and this is Tomlinson, and Tomlinson works out of his own traffic with his guys out in front of him. He almost stumbled over his own man and takes it to the 34 for a first down.
That's a good time for a screen pass, because you know that you have a pass rush defense, and you get in a shotgun and everyone's thinking pass, and then they all rush the passer and they drop off, and this was a perfect play call.
At the 34-yard line, first down. 2:38 remaining in the fourth. Rivers throwing wide open. A first down caught by Chambers. Chambers gets free in Colt territory, and they will spot the ball at the 48, 18-yard gain.
Yeah, again, you see that one, and it looks so easy, and you say, why didn't they do that all night? It's a cover 2. Jennings is up there, and then he tries to get deep. The safety doesn't get over, so they put a guy in short. Jennings steps up to go to the short guy, and then Chambers gets in behind him in the zone.
Sproles flanks Rivers in the shotgun. On first down, Rivers sends it to Sproles. And little Darren Sproles will have a first down as he gets it to the 37-yard line. Hayden and Buffet in on the tackle.
And Sproles comes running out. Isn't he something? I mean, he just, you know, we talked about energy and they look lethargic and so on. Now they get going. They put Sproles in there and they have some life in this thing.
And they're going to take it to the 2-minute warning. So they're at the 37-yard line. They're a little less than a first down away from a legitimate field goal attempt to tie the game, and they have all timeouts remaining. 2 minutes to go in a 3-point game in Southern California. That's next week. Wendy's post-game report. Horse trailer player of the game, Andrew, will be down on the field, and the guys will look ahead to week 13. But this is a pretty good way to come down toward the end of week 12 as Manning goes over things with his guys. Indianapolis, by the way, with 1 timeout. Now San Diego has 3. No coaches challenges, as you know, all booth reviews. First down with the ball at the 37-yard line. In a perfect world, they score a touchdown and milk the clock down. But there's a lot of interesting stuff that figures to happen here, John, in the next 2 minutes. Rivers back to pass. Rolling away and throwing, and that pass is incomplete, intended for Antonio Gates.
Well, they know that, you know, they have to block Dwight Freeney if they're going to get anything going here. So, again, they're sliding the left guard to that side and taking away his spin. And now Phillip Rivers knows that, so then he can get out to that side. But, you know, the strategy you're talking about, I agree with. I think here at this point, they have to take some time off the clock. And I still think first downs now. And the Chargers should be thinking first downs.
2nd and 10. And you've got a whistle before the snap. And a false start.
Well, that changes everything. Oof. Because I was thinking that, you know, that
offense, left guard, 5-yard penalty, 2nd down.
Dielman.
Right, that you need first downs and don't get away from your run game because the Colts are playing that cover 2 and they have a 7-man box, so there is some running there. Now when you get this 2nd and long, that changes everything.
Takes you absolutely out of field goal range at this point. Kading's career long 54 yards. We'd be looking at a 59-yarder now. 2nd down and 15. Rivers to the outside, and it's dropped, and it's Tomlinson who was open, and he couldn't hold on. 3rd and 15.
Well, this is a good throw by Rivers. Good pass protection. I mean, Tomlinson has to catch that. I mean, you say he's turned one way, and, you know, he kind of got turned around, but that ball is right in his hands.
So 3rd and 15 at the 42-yard line. They send Vincent Jackson wide left, Chambers wide to the right. From the gun. 4-man Indy rush. Protection good. The pass is caught. Matamaliuna reaches for the first down and doesn't get it. Now the ball's at the 29. You got a 4th down and 1. You got Kading, one of the best kickers in the league, with about a 47-yard field goal. And San Diego will take a timeout.
And I think they're going to kick the field goal. I think you have to try the field goal here. There's no way you go for it on 4th down by 3. Now you kind of wish you would have taken a little more time off the clock, though.
No question. The one thing for them, though, and they can't go for it because they actually move the ball a little bit farther back, so it's more like 4th and 2 right now. You're looking at about a 47-yard field goal. The only thing that works to their benefit, as you know, Turner is upset obviously along the sideline. They don't pick up the first down. They had the false start. Is that if they miss it and Indy has the ball. San Diego does have all of its timeouts, so they can't stop the clock. They stop without a first down, but still, then they'd be backed up and looking for a field goal without a timeout of their own.
Right, and the thing you just pointed out that killed them was that penalty, because if they would have stayed without the penalty, then they would have had a first down and been in manageable situations, and they needed a first down here to continue. They didn't get it. Now they have to do this.
47-yard attempt for Nate Kading, and that kick is good. Nate Kading from 47 away to erase a 10-point Indy lead. The game is tied at 20-20. So the touchdown drive led by Rivers, and then the Kading three-pointer, and we go from 20-10 to 20-20 with 1 minute and 30 seconds to play.
You know, and that's the part that the Chargers didn't want, is that 1 minute and 30 second left.
Right.
And you say, well, how did it get there? And we go back again to that penalty. If they don't have that false start, then they probably have a first down, and they're still working towards a touchdown.
Now for Indianapolis, remember they had to use 2 timeouts in the third quarter, so they only have 1.
But they have Peyton Manning. I'd take that. I'd take Peyton Manning with 1 timeout more than any other quarterback I could think of with 3 timeouts.
Right. I know what you're saying. Well, the Chargers, I mean, what's going to be very key here for Indianapolis is the first down play, because San Diego's got to think about when to take a timeout. They might not take it on second down, but they would certainly take it if it was third and long. First things first here. Let's start with the kickoff. Kading. Not that deep. 14-yard line. And you got the rookie Chad Simpson, who gets it back up to the 29-yard line. So with 1 minute and 26, here comes Manning to try to get them into at least field goal range for one of the best kickers in the league, and Adam Vinatieri.
And I think this whole system of the Colts with no huddle and Peyton Manning and calling plays at the line of scrimmage and all those things, I think they're perfect for this situation. This team is made for situations like this.
Harrison wide right, Gonzalez in the slot, Wayne wide to the left. Manning under pressure throws. Gonzalez falls down after making the catch up at the 43-yard line. Back they come to the line of scrimmage with alacrity.
And see, they want their slot to the wide side of the field, so with no huddle, Gonzalez had to hurry back and get over to the left side of the field.
There he is, just outside the left hash mark. Manning looking in that direction. Manning's throw is short, and it will be second down and 10 with 62 seconds remaining. Marcus Harris got into the backfield that time to force the issue.
I'll say one thing about Ron Rivera in this defense, he has really turned it around. I mean, you know, it was so much, well, Sean Merriman's not there, that's why we're not rushing the pass, that's why we're not putting any pressure on. They're doing this without Sean Merriman.
Second and 10. Rush 4. Pass to the outside. Short of the first. Clark makes the catch. Tackled by Jammer. So here comes a huge third down play at the 48-yard line. 3rd and 5. 45, 44, and ticking down. Manning out of the gun. Looking to convert. Throws. And the pass is caught, but short of the first down. Just a little short. Marvin Harrison, it's going to be 4th down. 30 seconds. Manning, they're going to give him a first down. Now hold on a second. Steratore got buzzed from upstairs. He gave him a first down.
We'll review the previous play.
They're going to check the spot. Again, there's no coach's challenge. This comes from upstairs. Steratore gets buzzed down. It's either going to be a first down or it's going to be a 4th and inches at the 48. Let's go back and take a look at the play. Harrison makes the catch.
See, it's short of the yellow line.
Yep.
And then there's no progress, so there's no way that can be a first down.
No way.
Now, I know the yellow line's not official,
right?
But look straight across at that down marker.
It's
Eric
Eric
straight across here.
Yep.
It's still not a first down.
And they'll look at that upstairs. Steratore will see it as well. The near side sticks are official. Right there as we look at it from reverse. So it figures to be a 4th down. And what Indianapolis will have to do if it's 4th down is decide what to do. And what I would think they would do is they're going to start to wind the clock when they signal the ball ready for play if it's 4th down. And then Manning will try to take the clock down, at least, get a play off, try to get them in field goal position. And San Diego then is going to have to think about stopping the clock with one of their timeouts. A lot of very fascinating stuff going on right now.
Right, and as you say, first things first, I don't see how there's any way that they can spot this as a 1st down. And you see that once he catches that, there's no more forward momentum. There's nothing going forward. So it's right at that spot where he catches it and the contact. And there's no way that that was beyond the 1st down marker.
So again, if it's not a 1st down, they're going to wind the clock the minute the ball is spotted down and signaled ready for play. And the options being gone over right now. If you go for it on 4th and San Diego takes a timeout, you have a whole other situation. Otherwise, I would think Manning's going to take a little time off the clock, try to run, the 4th down play, hopefully set up for what Indianapolis hopes will be a game-winning field goal. We'll see.
Now, see, he's spending a lot of time in this huddle talking. So it's either something that's going to include a snap count and some shifts, and maybe even a quarterback sneak or whatever, or a pass, because it's not something that is just a simple play.
I think if you're San Diego, though, right here, I don't think you can afford to take the timeout. Because if you do, and they get the 1st down, then then Manning still has the opportunity. You get about 15 more yards, and you're going to put Vinatieri in a position to win the game.
You watch Adam Vinatieri in pregame go into this same goalpost, and you see him hitting one from 55. So he does have the leg tonight to go 55 yards.
Batting practice.
Sometimes they take too much batting practice and they leave their leg in the net.
Right. So that's where they're going over now. It's the strategy of how you want to play this against the clock, as well as exactly what you want to do. And Tony wants Manning to come over again. Steratore will make the call.
But one thing was 4th down. I bet they call quarterback sneak.
After review, it has been determined that the ball was down just inside the 48-yard line. We are going to reset the football, then we were going to measure to see if they've received the 1st down.
So what he's doing is he's changing the spot, but it still may be a 1st down. He's bringing it back from where they originally spotted it. Now they're going to bring the chains out and measure it.
This has the look of something that's going to be about 2 inches either way.
That kills coaches. I mean, you plan for everything, and then, stuff like it comes down to something like this. A chain link, 2 links in the chain.
Coaches get indigestion from these links.
I still say just watching with the naked eye, it's not a 1st down.
Doesn't have it. Nope. I don't.
Ooh, now they're moving it back a little.
They haven't spotted it yet. Okay, now it's time to put the stick down.
Ooh.
Well, there it is.
That's one chain
Like
link.
I said, about 2 inches.
Well, the way he moved it looked like it was there.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
All right, so now punts out of the question. If they go for it, I mean, this is very interesting here, because if they don't make it and they leave too much time on the clock, San Diego gets the ball at this spot.
I think they go for it, and I think they quarterback sneak and then kill the clock.
And what they're going to do is they're going to signal the ball ready for play, and when they do, the clock will wind.
Right.
They'll start to wind the clock.
Peyton Manning knows that, and he's up there ready.
Okay.
I don't know if you like the quarterback sneak with a rookie center, but That's the play in this situation, I think.
Here goes the clock. The official clock going down, and Manning's going to go for it on the play fake on 4th down, and he's going to throw, and he underthrows, but he completes the pass to Marvin Harrison to the 34-yard line. Indy has one timeout, and they take it here. So he underthrows it. Harrison is able to adjust, and they're able to set up for maybe one more play. They have another play even though they're end of a timeout, but they've already put Vinatieri in a position where he could conceivably win the game.
Yeah, that's why he's Tony Dungy and Tom Moore is Tom Moore. Marvin Harrison is Marvin Harrison. He gets that cross, and that's a great call on this down, because if you run across, if you keep going, at some point you are going to be open. Marvin Harrison got to that point, but I still say that, that it's a gutsy call. But again, it's Peyton Manning,
right.
So maybe it's not that gutsy. And I would call for a quarterback sneak, and what I know, they go play action pass and hit Marvin Harrison on a cross.
Right. Now either you throw a pass to the sideline, you throw a pass into the end zone, or you go over the middle and you get, whoever catches it goes down immediately. Manning goes up and spikes the ball, and you put Vinatieri that much closer. So the question is, will San Diego lose a 4th game this season with 24 seconds or less to play? They've already lost 3. 1st and 10. 34-yard line. A dive. 33, and Manning saying, let's get up there. We got to spike the ball. So they move it about 2 yards closer. Peyton's going to spike it, and then the last play is going to be a Vinatieri field goal attempt. So irony of ironies. Last year in the battle between these two teams, Vinatieri could have overcome a 23-0 deficit and win the game for Indianapolis with a 29-yarder on a soft field and missed it to the right. And now tonight he has a chance to win the game with about a 50-yard field goal attempt. Vinatieri kicked that 52-yarder against New England 3 weeks ago, which was gigantic. This is a 51-yarder. Hunter Smith to hold it, and San Diego with all of its timeouts, and they're going to use one here.
Second charge timeout of the half. San Diego, a 30-second timeout.
Right off the top of your head, what active kicker could you remember that has kicked more big kicks in big games than this guy?
Nobody.
Talk about a clutch guy, and I know we had the one where he missed, but where there's not a lot of those on his resume.
That one in the snow in New England was an all-timer. Oh, and he's only won a couple of Super Bowls with kicks too. But
in big games, every big game, every big kick, Adam Vinatieri seems to be very, very special. In fact, the last game we had him, he was on the horse trailer.
He was on the horse trailer, and a game they had to win, did. It got him on this roll where they're trying to make it 4 in a row. And Adam Vinatieri in his 13th year, of course, almost all of the heroics coming as a Patriot. Now trying to win it for the Colts. Smith puts it down, and Vinatieri's kick is good to win the game. And the Indianapolis Colts win it on a Adam Vinatieri field goal from 51. Boy, these two teams have played some incredibly dramatic games over the last few seasons.
They've played great games, and you look at Norv Turner, you just wonder how many of those he can take. And that is tough, tough, tough.
4 losses in the last 24 seconds of a game, and they're 4-7.
But didn't you have the feeling when they scored down there that they just left too much time in the clock for the Colts? And you hate to say that, I knew this was going to happen. You probably didn't, but I had a feeling if you leave time on the clock for Peyton Manning, he's going to come back and beat you.
And you go for it on 4th down, and you get Harrison adjusting on it. And for Rivers, it's been that kind of a season, not only a game, but a season for the Chargers. Vinatieri, 3 field goals tonight, 23, 38, and 51. And the Colts win the game by a score of 23-20. Coming up next, the Wendy's post-game report. Horse Trailer Player of the Game, Andrew, has an interview with one of tonight's stars on the other side of the station break.